camera go? Oh my goodness. Oh, we're off to a great start. Okay, here we are. All right, so today, we're doing some Google Analytics for slash just analytics in general office hours once again. I do have an idea in mind for today, which is actually custom funnels in GA4. So this was something that I started going over it with a client earlier today, and I realized that I don't think that I have covered it really in any of my content as of late. I could be wrong. Um, but yeah, so I wanted to jump into custom funnels. So out of the box, actually, let me go ahead and pull this up and I'm gonna show you out of the box the funnels that we have in GA4 are pretty limited. So if you go into the report section, you have two funnels here. So we have the purchase journey, and this is going to be from session start to purchase, right? So it's session start, view product, add to cart, begin checkout, and purchase. Okay. And then we have a second funnel, which is the checkout journey, which is everything between begin checkout and purchase. So if we come in here to the checkout journey, we're going to see begin checkout, add shipping, add payment, and then purchase, right? So the idea is kind of to give you more clarity into like where people are dropping off in the purchase journey, like after they've began the checkout, right? Which is fine. And I guess this is somewhat helpful, somewhat. I still don't think it's the most helpful, but somewhat helpful for e-commerce folks. But the reality of it is most people, these funnels aren't truly indicative of their customer journeys. Especially if we talk about B2B, there are absolutely no funnels built for B2B folks in here. So today I want to show you kind of how you can create your own funnels, what that process looks like, and talk about some of the limitations, but also some of the good things about funnels in GA4. So let's hop back into, I'm going to hop back into my account here. And if I go into my reports section here, so if I go into reports and monetization, you can see I have some different funnels in here. So this would be my purchase journey. And then I also have a GA4 content funnel. This is something a student created where it's did they view the GA4 course page or a piece of content that was GA4 related, and then did they view the course, begin, checkout, and purchase, right? And the way that this was created was actually in Explore. So you can create custom funnels and put them in the report section, but you have to create the custom funnels in Explore. So if you go into Explore and then click on funnel exploration, it's going to give you that purchase journey. Oh, no, it's not purchase journey. It's even different from that. First visit, session start, screen view, and then purchase. Again, I'm not sure what the thought process was when creating these things, but alas. So again, quick rundown of Explore, how it works. This is what you have access to. So what you can access is on the left-hand side. These are all your variables. And then how you see it is on the right-hand side. These are your settings, right? So you can see we have a funnel exploration. We're looking at a standard funnel, which means somebody has to go through every single one of these steps. We could change this to, oh, no, I'm thinking of an open funnel. Open funnel, this is a closed funnel right now. They have to go through every step. If we made it an open funnel, they could jump in at any point of the process. So they don't have to complete all of these one after the other. They could jump in at any step. Okay, and then trended funnel. This is um, kind of shows you all of the events over time, right? So you could see, oh, at this point is where we started losing most people on screens or screen views or whatever. That'll make more sense later on, I think. You can add comparisons here, so you can compare, let's say we wanted to look at direct traffic or mobile traffic versus tablet traffic. We could see that in here. So you can see we have mobile, tablet, and right, we could see it like this if we wanted to. Um, and then I can get rid of these. We can add in different breakdowns. So by default, if you create a new funnel, it's going to show you different device categories. Um, and what's really cool about funnels in this view that we don't see in reports is that you see the completion rate, the number of abandonments, and the abandonment rate. And you can also turn on elapsed time. So it's going to tell you how long it takes users to get from one step to the next. So again, pretty cool in here. You can see that, this takes 0 seconds because they all happen at the exact same time. So interesting. And you can change rows per dimension and add filters, so on and so forth. Okay, but again, as it stands, this is not overly helpful for me as a B2B business right now. So I'm going to actually change the steps. So there are a couple different ways to do it. I can rearrange the steps if I want. I can just get rid of that purchase step because I'm not looking for purchases. But again, these steps aren't overly helpful to me as they are laid out here. So what I'm going to do is next to this steps um, section of the settings, I'm going to click on the pencil. And once I click on the pencil, then I get a screen that looks like this. And it shows exactly how the steps are set up. So I can see if either first open or first visit, session start, and then screen view or page view, right? The reason that they use these two things is because GA4 is meant for web and app streams. And so in an app, it's going to be called first open. On a website, it's going to be called first visit. Okay, that's what the difference is there. So like I don't have an app, so I could get rid of first open and I could get rid of screen view and just go with page view, but not what I'm looking for here. Okay, so let's pull up my website actually and think about a funnel that might make sense. So if somebody comes to my site, more than likely they're gonna land, maybe they'll land on a home page, and then they might go to one of my services, which I don't have like a great like folder of. But these are my different service pages. I have audit, implementation, consulting, and analyst on deck. So let's do this. So let's do session start, right? So you have to change the name. So just because I changed the event here doesn't mean that it's going to change up here, like the name. So you have to change the name here as well. So I'm going to name this session start. And then I'm going to do service page view. And this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do page path and query string. And I'm going to do contains. And we're going to do this because, like I said, I don't have a great setup for this as of right now. But, so I can do page path and query string contains the audit, or page path and query string contains implementation. Oh, okay, so that's already there. Consulting, this. So contains this. Apply. Oh, oh. Apply. Or, okay, we're getting closer. Or page path. Let's do page path. Oh, I've clicked on a different thing every single time. Sorry about that. Okay, page path and query string. Let's pull up the next one. Analyst on deck. I'm gonna copy this. Contains. Boom. Analyst on deck. Okay. And maybe I'll pull in. Oops. So this is saying or. So it's either this or this or this or. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and do my trainings as well. So analytics training. Okay, sick. This is going to be page path. Again, page path and query string. And then contains analytics training. Sweet. Okay, so this says they start their session and then they view one of my service pages in theory, right? Because I don't have content grouping because I messed that up. I also don't have the folder, messed that up. This is just what it is right now, okay? So this is what it looks like on my site. So session start, service page view. Now I'm gonna do contact page, page view. So we're gonna do page, page path and query string contains contact, apply. And then the next step, this is how you add another step. I'm gonna call this form fill. Right, so I can pull up my events here and it shows me all of my events. I have to remember what it is named. Again, I let students use this. I let too many people use this. Okay, so I'm just gonna go with generate lead here. Okay, so this is gonna be called generate lead. Okay, so what this is saying is they have to go through all of these. They have to go through all the steps. So they have to view a service page before they complete the or go to the contact page. And then once they're on the contact page, then they have to generate lead. Now I will say on almost all of these, there is the option to fill the form out right on that page. So we're going to talk about that here in a second. Okay, so I'm going to apply this. And again, so we can see there were 419 people, or 419 sessions or 419 users came to the site and started a session. 394 of them never viewed a service page. 22 of them, or let's see, 25 of them viewed a service page. 3 of them went to the contact page. None of them filled out a contact form, okay? Let me get rid of this so it's a little bit cleaner for now. And you can even see that the elapsed time, like it takes some time. So this can be over multiple sessions, by the way. That's why it can take different days, but I'm going to get rid of the elapsed time as well. So we can see it went 419, 25, 3, 0. Okay, the completion rate, so about 5 or 6% of folks that come to my site are going to view a service page. If they go to a service page, about 12% of them are going to go to a contact page. But if they go to the contact page, nobody's filling out my form fill. Okay, so we talked about this though. You can just fill out a form right on these pages. So how do we account for that? Well, we can make the funnel open, which means we can say they don't have to do it in this specific order. So let's see. We had 5 people view a contact page that didn't view a service page. Still nobody generated lead. I don't know that this is true. Maybe it is, but let's just open this up and see if we can find somebody becoming a lead. 2 leads, okay. And now let's see if I close this funnel. So you can see one of them probably just contacted me straight from the service page, would be my guess. So yeah, continuing funnel 2. So you can see how many people entered. So it says 10 new funnel entries, 10 continuing funnel entries. So overall in the last 90 days, we had 862 active users have a session. 95 of them viewed a service page, which is about 11% of the users. About 2% of all users or all active users viewed the contact page, and less than 0.5% became a lead. I wonder what I have marked as a lead. There's no telling. If we change it to this. don't know, guys. That's not good. I don't recommend not knowing. Um, anyways, so, but this is still a more realistic funnel for me. I still would even say that this isn't necessarily realistic for me because, again, I have um, lead like captures on all of my pages. You don't have to go to the contact page. Um, but, you know, if this is like the ideal for me, then it could be helpful to capture it this way. Or if you have an ideal funnel that you want people to go through. For instance, maybe you want them to view a blog post and then become a lead. You could have that for sure, you know. So if I was, you know, maybe I want to see, does it make a difference if people view my service pages? So if I don't make this an open funnel, right? Now I can say, okay, so I'm gonna just get rid of this service page view, and then they became a lead. So 96 active users viewed a service page, 2 of them became a lead. Now I can create um, whoopsies, that's not what I wanted to do. I could create another one of these and just do um, does not contain, does not contain. So now these are folks that did not view one of my service pages, right? So let's say I'm trying to say there's value in having these service pages. I'm going to be able to see whether or not that's true. So the completion rate of folks that don't view, oh, it's still called, okay, hold on. So we'll do I'm just going to call this no. No service page view. So the completion rate of folks that do not view a service page is 0.78. Okay. So of all the active users that come to my site, which would be 900 of them, they did not view the service page. 0.8% of them will convert. Now, of the folks that do view, which is 96, so I had 96 users that did view, 2% of them ended up converting. So you can see, like, okay, the conversion rate is better for folks that have viewed a service page, right? So you could do the same thing with blog posts. Okay, I did all of that, and now I'm realizing that I need to show you. Okay, sick. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Bum, bum, bum. Give me my. So if you were doing blog posts, oh shoot, that's what what's that keeps happening. You could do it like that. Now let's say, okay, that this is the funnel that we want to go with, and you're like, sweet, I want to be able to see this in the report section. You can export this to the report section. Something to know though before you do that is all of the dimensions that you have in this variables section are going to be able to be used as breakdowns. So this is what the breakdown was. So if I look at device category, I can see, all right, people that view the one of my service pages, they will only move on to the contact page if they are on desktop. Nobody moved on from mobile, nobody moved on from tablet, okay? And then the people that did move to go to the contact page, you know, about 10% of them, 1 in 10 of them, became a lead. All right. So session start, I mean, again, much higher, not much higher, but, you know, higher chance of moving from a session start to viewing a service page. But and then you can see the abandonment rates here as well. Okay, so if you want to see it by device category, sweet. It makes it weird to have the event names in here. right? This doesn't make sense. So I usually try and get rid of that one so that people don't try and add it, right? So that'll make sense here in a second. So the event name, that doesn't make sense. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of gender. I don't care about that. Country's fine. What might be helpful, maybe we could do session source. Um, we could do, oh, here's a way to get around that. Session manual source medium. We can't use actual source medium, but we can use manual source medium, which is the same thing. I don't know, but yeah. So we can see the people coming from Google organic are the ones that are becoming leads. People from LinkedIn get to the part where they look at one of the service pages, but they don't move on. So that could be really useful information, right? So just make sure that the dimensions make sense. I'm going to leave it to these three things, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here into these little icons, and this one says save as a report in the library, okay? Now, if you create something in Explore, only you see it unless you click on this share exploration button. So if I click on this icon, I can share the exploration, but it shares it with everybody else only in read-only mode. So they'll be able to open the exploration, but they won't be able to edit it. They can make a copy of it and edit their own version, but they're not going to be able to make any changes to your version, all right? So you could share it like that. But if you save it as a report in the library, it makes it like available to everyone in the library section. So I'm going to call this service page funnel. I'm just going to call it that for now. And I'm going to click save. Okay. And now you can see it says exploration saved to reports library. If we click on that, remember, the reports library is what controls the navigation in the reports section. So now we can see I have this service page funnel. If I go into lifecycle, edit, and if I look up my service page funnel right here, I can plop this down into engagement. You can see I do have a lead funnel in here. Student must have made that. So I plopped that into engagement. I'm going to click save changes to current collection. And now when I go back and I look into my reports section, I can see here's that service page funnel. And it does use the first dimension listed as the breakdown. Okay, so I can see session start 419, service page view 25, contact page view 3, generate lead 0. Again, this is the last 28 days. I can change this to last 90 days, and I should be able to see that 2 come through. Or 1, yeah. So 890, 96, 10, 1. And I can see that came from the US. I had a lot of people from China, I guess, starting. Oh, yes, so because I taught in Thailand. So that's where some of this is coming from. But let's say I get here and I'm like, drats, I didn't want country to be the breakdown that was shown by default. I actually wanted it to be session source medium. Here's the limitation of creating custom funnels. You cannot edit them from here. We actually have to go back to Explore, and we have to make the change in Explore, export a new, so I'm going to put this up top. Okay. Now I have to export a new version of this service page funnel. Go back to the library. I'm going to get rid of the original one that I had made that's in the life cycle collection. Delete that. Now I'm going to go into life cycle, edit, service page funnel, drop that in there, save to current collection. It is a real pain. I understand it absolutely is. So you want to make sure you get it right. And just know that if you don't, you just have to recreate the funnel. That's fine. So now when I come in here, it should automatically be broken down by, oh no, it did country again. I wonder if it's alphabetical. It might be alphabetical. If that's the case, then you might just want to put session source medium in here if that's what you want, or get rid of country and device. But um, couple other things to note in here is that you don't get the completion rate. You only get the abandonment rates in here. Obviously, you don't have the time to convert, or like elapsed time between steps. Um, yeah. So, um, that's just something to be aware of. Now, it is kind of nice because you can, like, if I just do t.co in here, it shows me just the, like, Twitter, the funnel for just Twitter. So that's kind of nice as well. But this is really something that I think a lot of people don't realize, that you can create your own funnels in GA4. And then also the limitations aren't quite, I don't think, very well understood. So I definitely recommend knowing that before you get into it. So that's all I've got really on custom funnels. If you have any questions about custom funnels, leave them in the comments, ping me. I'm always happy to chat and help in any way I can. Also, if you have any ideas for something that you want to see on anything that you want to see on an I almost called it Analytics Friday. That's what it used to be called. During office hours, let me know, and hopefully next time we can get to it. Thanks for stopping by.